They call this the most advanced era in human history. Apparently, there are medical breakthroughs everywhere. So why are millions of Americans more unhealthy and overweight than they've ever been? According to U.S. board-certified physician and expert nutritionist Dr. Amy Lee, one of the main reasons is 3 harmful foods that are being passed off as health foods all over the country. And wait till you hear this, because these foods can cause weight gain, clog your digestive tract, deplete your energy, and wreck your skin. They're banned in other countries. Yet shockingly, they're still legal in the US. The great news is Dr. Lee will explain how to stop and reverse this damage by simply learning which foods to avoid and how to spot them. And by doing so, you can experience easier weight loss, smooth digestion, and vibrant energy. To find out these 3 fake health foods, go to 3harmfulfoods.com/inspired. That's the number 3, 3harmfulfoods.com/inspired, or click on a link in the description down below. Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. It's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Inspired live stream. I welcome everyone in the live chat. We're back on Rumble today. They fixed their technical difficulties. Maybe, I assume it was a cyber attack, actually. Given what's going on. But welcome on Rumble, welcome on YouTube, welcome in the live chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know what you're thinking, either in the live chat or in the comments. We love hearing from you. Inspire Tribe, we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. That's been the mantra for the last years in hundreds and hundreds of live streams. And it's so good to see all your comments. And I wanted to come on today because a lot of questions and messages that we receive revolve around the subject. We've talked about this. As a matter of fact, I pledged earlier this year or at the end of last year that this topic was going to be instrumental on the Inspire channel, in the Inspire Tribe moving forward. That is AI, transhumanism, what is really going on and how it's happening. And so I knew this was going to be controversial for some. Some don't want to hear about it. Some don't believe it. Some think we should just ignore it. I don't believe so. I think we need to know what is going on. So I want to upfront tell you there's one word that you will need in 2024 more than ever. 2 letters. And I'm going to give you that word right off the bat. The word is called no. You're going to have to say it over and over and over again from 2024 onward. No, as you have been saying it. And I'm going to preface this whole live stream by repeating what I put on a thumbnail today on this photo for the live stream. Dear technocrats, you can shove it up yours. You can shove it up where the sun don't shine. What I'm hearing and reading and what these AI transhumanists, these technocrats are continually saying is it's inevitable. All of this is inevitable. You hear Klaus Schwab, you hear Yuval Harari, you hear Ray Kurzweil, and you hear all the others you never hear about because they're kind of behind the curtain. And all they say, this is all inevitable. We're going to have digital ID. We're going to have, mandatory. We're going to have CBDCs. We're going to have digital health passports. You won't be able to travel. You won't be able to do this and that. And it is inevitable. Check in everywhere. Transparent brain transparency, all of that. And my friends, if it wasn't clear before, the answer to all of it is no. Thank you. We don't need it. Now fuck off. Now fuck off and go and shove it where the sun don't shine. And I don't understand the hesitancy. I don't understand why people are so freaking afraid and fearful, and they write us messages and they write emails and say, but you know, in my country, they're saying this is going to be mandatory. What should I do? I'm going to lose my pension. I'm going to lose my benefits. Well, you know what? You either have morals, you either have values, you either have convictions, you either know who you are or you don't. It's as simple as that. And sometimes we can't sugarcoat these things. Friends, if you are in a yes or no situation when it comes to this and you say, yes, because I'm afraid, well, that's on you. That's on you. In all of the world, or at least to my knowledge, there were places where it was different. But in most of the world, especially the Western world, nobody held a gun to anyone's head. They were doing everything from bribery, yes, sort of blackmail, you will lose your job, all these things. But ultimately, you had a decision. You either took it or you didn't. That's the same thing here. You still have the choice. You can either participate or not. And then people say, well, what if I die? Well, to me, that's the hill I want to die on. if that's the price that I pay, that I leave this physical body before I play that stupid game, where you count me in, absolutely I'm leaving. Absolutely I'm leaving. You think that these soulless, spiritless psychopaths are going to tell me what I'm going to do, what I'm going to put in my body, how I'm going to behave, and what I'm going to say, and what I'm not going to say, where I'm going to. You think again. That's so stupid, ludicrous, and childish. They're never going to get. They're never going to get that. They're never going to get me to comply with their bullshit ever. That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I don't care. You can't intimidate me because there's nothing you can scare me with. And you have to get to that stage. That's why we're talking about the things that we're talking about so often, because all of these choices, they're coming to your door. Trust me. I don't care where you are. It might be a little different if you are in a rural area somewhere in an African nation. That might be different, and you might be better off for that, but might have other problems that you're facing. It might be a little better if you're in certain rural areas of the world where people just, they don't care, right? If you participate or not. But in the Western world, if you live in Europe, you live in Australia, New Zealand, if you live in North America, if you live in South America for that matter, if you live in Asia, so we're counting the Eastern world in too. India's gone full on, China and all that. There is no escaping this, my friends. You have to make a choice. And you have to know what that choice is going to be when they knock on your door, because eventually they will. Eventually they will. They want everybody in the grid. They want everybody in the system. They want the hive mind. They want this AI totalitarianism. I'm reading this book here. I'm actually simultaneously, I believe I'm reading about 5 or 6 books right now. But this one, Joe Allen's Dark Aeon, the Transhumanism and the War Against Humanity. Now, I've been listening to Joe Allen here because he's been a constant contributor to Steve Bannon's War Room. And those are the segments I really go for, is Joe Allen's segments, because he is a theology major, philosophy major, I believe, and has been immersing himself in the world of AI and transhumanism for the last years completely. And it's so precise the way he describes these things. His heart and his morals, his values are in the right place, so he can provide some context for this. And I can just tell you, go and read this book, or listen to this book. I put the link in the live stream description. Joe Allen's Dark Aeon: Transhumanism and the War Against Humanity. And here's the thing, friends. This is really what this is not something that he put out as a subtitle that would work well and sell well. This is exactly how they are describing it. They're literally warring against what is our biology. What is the greatest enemy in the public enemy number one in the media? It's not Hamas. It's not Russia. It's not China. It's carbon. Carbon. What are we made of? We're a carbon-based life form. What are they going for? Silicon-based life form. They're going from carbon to silicon-based. And that's why the war against carbon, my friends, is the war against humanity. That's the reality of this. That's the truth here. But here's the thing with this. If you think you can sit this one out and you can just not participate in this, and you won't be a part of it, and you won't have to make that decision, you have another thing coming. Everyone has to make that decision. It's best you make it now. It's best you draw the line in the sand now. When 2020 rolled around, I told you this. You can go back. I told you this. We drew the line in the sand. You come to my door, watch what happens. Still, same thing. You come to my door, you think you can force me to do something, watch what happens. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. I don't recommend any human being to try to force another human being to do anything. That is rape. As medical rape or technological rape or AI rape, no matter what you want to call it. The clarity here is really needed. We haven't really exuded this clarity because there is no public debate. Because when it comes to AI and transhumanism, people are just running after the next technology. It's like, Yes, please give me the next iPhone. I'm gonna sleep in a tent for 3 days so I can get it first. It's amazing how that works, right? So this is what's been going on. We didn't have it. We never had a debate. We never had a clear, and now we need to signal this clearly. I think the greatest movement for freedom, the greatest alliance in human history, the Alliance for Freedom, needs to come together for just this, for freedom from being forced to use any of it. How can you force someone to use a digital ID? How can you force someone to use a digital health passport? How can you unify the two thoughts that you have freedom of movement and at the same time that is restricted? It can't be. We've gone so far, so we need to become very clear, my friends. So here's my thing. If somebody wants to put that in their body, if somebody wants to use all of it, be completely surveilled and controlled, and go ahead, do it. It's your choice. But don't even think about trying to force me to do it, trying to force my family to do it. We're never going to go along with it. It's the hill we're willing to die on. It's the war that we're battling, the war that we're fighting, and we're willing to do it. But this is something that you have to become very, 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 very clear on. Very clear. Okay? The way that these people are implementing it now is very much through the back door. You have in the United States and beyond the United States, you have a few extremely powerful entities that are non-government, at least not really, disguised. You have BlackRock, you have Vanguard, and a few others that are, what are they doing? They're buying up every essential sector of the economy. From real estate to medicine to technology, you name it, they own it. 70-80% of some of the markets in real estate, they're probably approaching the 30-40% mark of owning all real estate in the United States, and they're pricing out new home buyers. That's what's been going on for the last years. What has been happening is that your single family homes in the average price range, let's say the 300s and up to the 600s, where people are making offers, and at the last minute, a corporation, a company is jumping in, offering a much higher cash price. These are all Vanguard, BlackRock owned companies that are buying up the real estate market. They're buying up homes, putting them up for rent because they don't want ownership. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. But this is a much bigger picture. What are they doing with these homes? Whatever they want. What technology are they putting in these homes? Whichever technology they want, because they own it. So they put all the smart appliances, all the smart everything. They are putting you, they're saying to you, you're going to live in my grid, whether you want to or not. It's one thing that they're doing. They're buying up all corporations or having major stakes in those corporations. They're becoming the major shareholders so they can set policy for those corporations. What is that policy? It is all AI transhumanist policy, which begins with anti-family, anti-gender, anti-white race, anti-all these things, anti-Christianity, and so forth. And they implement these policies in the companies through their stakeholdership, because they say, we're main owners, we're setting the policy here. And if you don't like it, you can quit your job, but you're going to say this, you're going to call this person by their gender fluidity preferred pronouns, they, them, or Zephyri, or monkey, or whatever. And so they're bringing, and this is all aimed at one goal, bring everybody into the hive mind, bring them into the transhumanist vision, bring them into the AI totalitarian dictatorship, 15-minute cities. Everything is digital, electric, check in, check out, read your thoughts. This is not decades away, my friends. This is already here. All the technology is here. It's available, and they're bringing it in. They have stalled legislation and all these things like the technocrats have always done. What have they done? They have implemented technologies. Companies like Google have done it since the 90s or earlier, at least. I mean, we know since the 90s. They have implemented technology that was so invasive, so much data gathering, so much manipulation, so much bullshit. And there was no legislation, there were no laws, there were no rules, because the legislators, the vast majority, had no idea, didn't even understand what needed to happen there. And those few ones that did were bought off and were brought into the honeypot. So you have, and you still have that, technically speaking, the amount of invasive data collecting, reading, how your iPhone freaking takes screenshots of takes photographs of your retina, of your eye movements every few milliseconds. There's an infrared, and you can see it in dark rooms, how all apps do this, TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. They're all collecting this data. And there's almost no legislation to regulate this. And I'm usually not a regulator. I'm more of a libertarian-minded person. But this is all insanity, my friends. And so I want to repeat the most important word for 2024 that you're going to have to say over and over again: no. And you can add no thank you. If it needs to be emphasized a little more, you can say no thank you. Now fuck off if that needs to be said. You can shove it up your ass if that needs to be said. Sometimes clarity is required. But here is the thing, my friends. As much as we focus on our spiritual development, on the raising of consciousness means aligning more and more with 100% truth. More and more and more. This is not truth. This is the perfect lie. Technocracy is the perfect lie. Transhumanism is the perfect lie. It is the lie. We have all the data to confirm that. We have civilizations that have gone under because of it, and this civilization is still able to change the course, but you're gonna have to say no. Gonna have to say no, because they are coming with it. They're gonna offer you basic universal income. Okay, so that's the next thing they're going to offer you very soon. In Europe, it's pretty much there. For migrants, for illegal immigrants and legal immigrants, it's there. I mean, they get there in most countries, and it's like it's insane what they get compared to those who work and pay taxes and pay insurance and whatnot. And so they're going to come and go. Listen, they're going to go, AI is displacing 30, 40, 50, 60% of the workforce. We're going to have to get rid of a lot of people. That's the depopulation part of it. And then for the remaining people, those who we don't need to work, they need to somehow be entertained. So we need the metaverse, and we need them to have a little bit of money, digital money, of course, and that is universal basic income, my friends. And they're going to tell you, if that's what you want to hear, they're going to call it Jasara if you want. Sure, they're going to call it Nasara Jasara. Everybody here gets your check. But believe you me, the government doesn't produce anything, so it can't just generate profits from anything they produce. It generates profits from you. So whatever they give you, they have to first take away from someone. That's the first thing. The second thing is this unconditional basic income will very soon turn into a completely conditional income. You either comply or you don't get it. Your money is programmed. Sure, you can buy so much of candy a month, but not more. So much gas, but not more. Oh, you want another bottle of beer? I'm not a drinker, but hey, if you want another bottle of beer, you have to wait till next month. You're all out. Friends, if you read books like these, where all the facts are gathered, because it's a fact-driven book, it's a fact-driven guy, that's what I appreciate about him. If you read what various foundations, what the Bilderbergers, what the Rockefellers, what the committees, what the Googles and the Facebooks and what they put out, this is exactly what they put out. This is their version of the future. And Klaus Schwab has said, listen, friends, and Klaus Schwab's like he's like the German neighborhood villain. They put him out. So he's sort of become this hate figure, and everybody's focusing on him when he's really just a good spokesperson. Yes, he's got an evil mind. Yes, all of this is true, but there's so much happening while he's doing this. There's so much happening here. Nobody's focusing it, but he's hinting at it, and he's saying here, there's this anti-system movement. They don't want the government to have any control in the private life of the people. They call themselves libertarians, and they're dangerous to the system, very dangerous. We have to be very comprehensive in our way to defeat them, because we need the government to control everything. We need stakeholdership in everything, right? So this Klaus, paraphrasing naturally, but this is the gist of it, my friends. And what I'm sick and tired of, I'll be quite honest, I am sick and tired of the whining, of the weakness, of the constant just, we can't because, well, go get a grip. Go get a grip. We're here. We're self-responsible beings. And everybody's waiting for someone to do something, to change something. We're fully self-reliable beings. That's how we were created. And that's what we need to return to. Sure, we can help each other. We do. Sure, we can inspire each other. We do. Sure, we can support each other. We do. But don't fucking rely on somebody to solve these things for you, to decide these things for you. Become a full-blown, beautiful human being that you were designed to be. Ignite that spirit. Say yes when you mean yes, and say no when you mean no. And that's the end of it. And that's what we call freedom, my friends. So here's your gentle, loving, kicking the ass. I don't want the whining anymore. When we put out certain content, the whining in the comment section and the victimization, the victimhood mentality. What do you think you're going to gain from the victimhood mentality? What do you think is the upside of thinking of yourself as a victim? There is no upside. It's time to heal and make that choice and move on and become fully self-reliable. Stop crying like little girls and let's get this done, because we're adults here. Most of us watching are adults. Actually, most of the people watching this are more mature adults. Very few young folks actually, that are watching this, because they don't care. Most of them don't care. They just want the newest app. They want to look really good with fake photo editors and stuff like that. But there is a very large section of the population that does care, because they have maturity, they develop spiritually, and they know that we're on a wrong path and that we need to turn this corner. We really need to make this happen. And it's important that we learn to say no. And I love how David Icke, who lost his daughter yesterday, by the way, and I want to thank the Inspire Tribe for the outpouring of love, which was so beautiful to see and is beautiful to see. But as David Icke always says, to consider not doing the right thing, which means saying yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no. To consider that is to consider denying your humanity, your human spirit. It's not an option any longer. But the beautiful thing is, when we finally understand that and transmute fear, we have defeated these people, because that's all they have going for them. It's to keep people in fear. You're this tiny when you're in fear, and that's what they know. And that's the game that they're playing. Whichever way they can, they're putting the fear in people. And when that doesn't work, it's game over. You become a shining light, and you become an example for everybody else. Alrighty, one more time before I log off. The most important word you're going to need in 2024 when you communicate with the world outside of you, this system, will be no, because they will start coming at you with CBDCs, digital IDs, digital health passports. It'll become more rigid. But if we say no, it's not happening. Much love, many blessings. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon. And remember, a link for the beautiful and beautifully eye-opening book, Dark Aeon, by Joe Allen. It's in the description. I would say it's a must-read for everybody, or listen if you like the Audible version. Talk to you soon.